Hey everyone, so I wanted to jump on here tonight and do a new project for you guys. So I'm doing something a little different. I'm going to use different parts of this transfer in order to decorate this new tray that I just made. So I just made this out of some wood and stained it and then put some handles on it. So I thought this would be a cute project. And the transfer that I'm going to use tonight is called, I think it's called Farmer's Market. It's one of Couture's transfers, and it's one of my absolute favorite ones. You guys have probably seen that I've made several things with this. That's why this transfer has some staining on it, but it doesn't affect it, so we can go ahead and use it over and over. I think I've used this about 4 or 5 times now. It's still super sticky on the back, so we will go ahead and get started. So since this transfer is a lot larger than the board, I'm going to just use parts of the transfer to decorate the top of this. Now I will say that on this board I stained it and I let that dry, and then I waxed this last night and let it dry for a full 24 hours. That's going to help to protect my transfer whenever I pull it up. So we'll go ahead and get started. Make sure, especially on these large transfers, if you've never used them or never heard me say this, you need to make sure that you don't pull this up from the corner and put a lot of pressure on it, because transfers are a textile, so they do have stretch across the bias. So you want to get your corner started and then come across the top and pull evenly down to pull these off these transfer backer sheets. So let me get that done. Okay, so I have my transfer all ready, and I'm just going to use like the chicken's head, and I think I'm going to use it down here in this corner and kind of let it run off the edge here. So I'm just going to get that position. These transfers are awesome because you can stick them down and then raise them back up if you're not sure on the positioning. So we'll just work with it here to get it where we want it. And I think that's about how I'd like this to be. So I'm not going to push down any of the rest of the transfer, but I am going to make sure that I have good adhesion to the board everywhere that I'm going to be chalking. So I do also have blue painter's tape. I thought about kind of masking off the very edge here and up the side, but I think I'm okay with not using that. So I'm going to take a look at this and make sure it's positioned how I want it, and then just smooth it down. Okay. I like that. And then tonight I'm just going to do this in white. I thought that would look good against this. So let me make sure I don't get this to fold up on itself. You don't want these to fold up across themselves when you're working with them. But if you do that, the best thing to do that I found is just to put them in the water bath like you're going to wash them, and then they kind of unstick. So get this pushed down here. I'm probably not going to go all the way to the corner, but I just want to make sure that I have it pushed down. Okay, so I'm going to do this in our bright white. These are the Chalkology pastes that Couture sells. And I'm going to use the multi-tool here, and it's kind of designed to be used with Couture products. So on this end, you have a great little detailing tool, so you can spread into small areas if you're not wanting to cover a whole area. And then on this end, you have this cut shape that goes around the inside of this jar of Chalkology paste really well, so you can stir it up and really get everything mixed in. So that's what I'm going to do now. The white tends to be thicker when you're using it, so if it's too thick, you can always add a little bit of water and thin it down, but this one's pretty good. I think it just needs to be mixed up pretty well. So we're looking for a yogurt-like consistency. So I'm just going to mix it until I kind of get that, and we are there. So that's kind of what you want it to look like. You don't want it too runny, but you also don't want it to come out in like globs too thick. So let me clean this off so we get every little bit of that back in the jar if we can. And then I just use some baby wipes. I love using baby wipes on my Couture projects because they clean everything up really nice. So I'm just going to put this on a baby wipe and set it aside for right now. And then I have one of our small angled squeegees here, and we will get started. So I'm just going to be careful not to get anything in the Farmer's Market wording here, and we're just going to dab this on and start spreading. And you can use quite a bit because everything you don't end up using, you will put back in the jar. And you don't have to work super fast. It's really easy to use, but you don't want to leave it on there too long, because when you pull your transfer up, it will kind of leave it distressed looking. And if that's the look you're going for, then that's fine. And sometimes I do that, but on this one, I'm not looking for that. So we'll just get this spread over here, kind of picking a spot that I want to stop over here on the edge. And I'm doing this kind of at a 45-degree angle, and then I'm going to come back over it here and do it at a 90-degree angle to take all that excess off. So a lot of this is just going right back in the jar. So very minimal product has to be used. And we're just about done. So as simple as that. We have already got our chicken on the board. I'm just making sure that I got everything covered. I think I've got a little spot here that didn't get real good, so I'm going to go back over that. Just make sure I got everything covered really well. Alright. And I kind of feathered this along the edge and left some little spots. I don't know if you can see that on the camera, but I did that on purpose in order to kind of let the feathers feather out. So let's peel this back and see what we have. Oh, I love that. I haven't done just the chicken head before, but I really like that. Alright, I'm going to put this in, this transfer just in a water bath, and all of this paste that's on top will come right back off. Okay, so I have wiped off this transfer and dried it off. So you can see that the chicken where I did all the white is gone now. So now I'm just going to use this Farmer's Market and put it across here. I did want to make sure that my chicken is completely dry, because if not, I would mess that up. But it dries pretty quick, and while I was washing this off, that gave it some extra time. So we're going to just position this, I think something like this. And again, I'm just pushing down the area that I want to use. Kind of like it like that, I think. I've got to turn just a little bit. So again, you can just reposition them. And this is sticky again, even though I've already used it. It just comes right back. So get that all pressed down really good. Alright, I probably press it down more than it has to be, but that's how I like to do it. So, alright, so grab my chalk paste again, and we're just going to chalk on Farmer's Market. And get some of this. And I'll just have to be careful not to get in the feathers down here. So again, at 45 degrees, I'm just spreading it on. And what I'm actually doing is there's little tiny holes, or like a mesh material, that is where you see the design, and I'm pushing the paste down through that. And then where the green part is of the transfer, I got really close there, that doesn't go through, and then you're just wiping that back off. So now I'm taking my 90-degree swipe here to take off any excess. I love doing these projects. It is one of my most favorite things to do. I spend a lot of time doing it, making things for people, and I really enjoy doing it. This started out as something that me and my mom wanted to be able to do together. She is super creative, and I need a little more structure, so Couture has given us a great way to do that, because I have the structure that I need in order to create things, and she can take and mix and match things and make beautiful designs. So really like that. Alright, it looks like I did get a little bit outside on my R, so I'll show you how we clean that up. Let me put this in the water bath. Okay, so I did get outside on the R. I think I didn't have that pressed down. And I don't know if you could hear it, but whenever I was squeegeeing that on there, I kind of heard the transfer moving a little bit, like it wasn't stuck down fully, but it's pretty easy to fix. On a chalkboard surface, it's super easy to fix because all of our chalk pastes are water soluble. So you can put them on a surface and pull them off, but since this is on wood, it'll be more permanent. I'll seal this with polyurethane, but what I'm going to do is I take a tongue depressor and wrap a baby wipe around it, so I kind of have like a little tool here I can use. And I'm just going to kind of clean that up a little bit now, and then once it dries I'll clean it up a little bit more. But I'm just taking any excess off right now to clean the R up. And another thing you can do is, I've seen my mom do this, she's put the transfer on, and if she doesn't like the color she used or something like that, or wants to add more detail, she'll actually let this dry fully, and then she will come back and lay the transfer over it again and do another color. So that gives it some dimension. Alright, so clean that up, and then once that dries I'll do it again, but that's pretty much our finished product. So we have a nice full tray. I will spray this with some polyurethane just to seal it and protect it. But thanks for watching, and until next time.